going to record part 2 now, Beauty and the Beast. I hope everyone enjoyed the first part, and I'm thinking now that there will be probably more than 3 parts. So please, if you would like to listen now, get yourself into a comfortable position, seated or lying down, where you will not be disturbed. When you open your eyes this time in Beauty and the Beast, you will see yourself sitting in your father's favorite chair. You're nearly finished reading your favorite book. The shopkeeper only gave it to you yesterday, but you had such a difficult time setting down this book, as you do with any good book, even if you've read it twice. You smile and think how you'll be able to read the book hundreds of times now. Your father is still gone, but that doesn't concern you. He shouldn't even reach the fairgrounds until this evening, and then it'll be several days more before he returns home. You realize that since he's gone, today would be a good day to make some sorrel soup with leeks and potatoes. Your father never did take to potatoes, which is one of the few instances in which he is of the same mindset as many members of the older generations in town. You chuckle as you remember how he protested your growing them. My mother always said they were poisonous tubers, he complained. They aren't, and you quite enjoy them with parsley. The summer will be coming to a close, and you have a few ripe potatoes that you planted earlier than probably necessary. Wistfully, you set your book aside and rise to put a pot of water above the hearth to boil. The few potatoes are peeled and chopped. Then you move on to leeks before retrieving sorrel from the garden. As the potatoes soften in the boiling water, you prepare to add leeks, sorrel, and fresh cream to the pot. Once finished and seasoned, you consider taking the pot down to the spring house to cool. A cool soup would be refreshing on this hot summer day. The sun is high in the sky when you start back to the main house. And because no one can see you behave so unladylike, you hike your skirts up to your ankles and run through the grass. Once inside, you slip out of your worn shoes and sit at the dining table to read more of your book. You've barely finished a chapter when you hear a knock at the door. Wondering who could possibly be outside, you walk over to the visitor, viewer, another one of your father's inventions. You're disappointed when you see Gaston standing there, oddly overdressed for a weekday. What could he want from me? You wonder, and for a moment you consider not opening at all and pretending not to be home. But then you open it anyway. As soon as you do, he charges in and stands much closer to you than good manners allow. You step back, greet him, and try to ask him why he's here without being rude. Gaston walks over gallantly and says, "This is the day your dreams come true." "What do you know about my dreams, Gaston?" You question him. "Plenty. Here, picture this. A rustic hunting lodge, my latest kill roasting on the fire, and my little wife massaging my feet, while the little ones play on the floor with the dogs. We'll have 6 or 7 dogs? No, Belle. Strapping boys like me. Imagine that. And you know who that little wife will be? Let me think." You try to back away. You, Belle. You're still backing away from him towards the door. "Gaston, I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say. He corners you against the door. Say you'll marry me, he responds as his face gets closer to yours. I'm really very sorry, Gaston, but I just don't deserve you, as you say this last bit. Your hand is fumbling for the doorknob, and you open the door wide. And because he was leaning on it, he goes sprawling outside. You don't even stop to see if he's hurt himself or if he's okay. You just slam the door closed and hold your face in your hands. As you do, you hear a band, or you could swear it's a band, playing just outside. And you don't even want to know what could possibly be going on out there. What an absolutely ridiculous idea for you to marry such an idiotic, old-fashioned sort of man. Sure, he was good-looking, but that certainly doesn't count for very much in your book. You want more, and you dream of more, and you won't settle for less. You try to calm yourself by reading your book until you're sure that no one is outside your house anymore. Then you go out to feed your chickens and your goat. You know that you don't have to feed Philippe because he's out with your father. And so you go to sit out in the grass and watch the sun start to set on this beautiful day. The terror of the afternoon and being proposed to is quickly fading from your mind, and all you want to do is think about your dreams, your hopes, and all your wonderful plans as you sit in the grass. But as soon as you're sitting there, and not much after, you hear an animal running in from the forest. You look and you see Philippe, your horse, is galloping towards you with a frenzied look in his eye. You run up to him and grab his reins. Philippe, where's Papa? You ask him. What's happened to him? The horse looks quite bewildered, and you stroke his nose, try to calm him down, but all the while you yourself are becoming more and more worried about your father. You must take me to him, Philippe, you say. You give him food and water, and let him rest for a moment as you go inside to grab your cloak, and perhaps some things for traveling, some food and whatnot. As soon as you're ready, you go back outside, you saddle up Philippe, and you tell him to take him to your father. He takes you into the forest road, one you traveled before, and it all seems quite normal for an hour or two. But then you notice he's taking you down a path that you and your father rarely take. You want to question if the Philippe's taking you the right way, because it does not look like the most pleasant road to be on. But then you decide against it. Philippe is your only chance now at finding your father. Philippe takes you to the large gate that you've never seen before, which is strange because behind the gate is a dark, brooding castle. And you're immediately concerned. You jump off your horse and prepare to lead him into the gate to bang to see if anyone will let you in, but the gate opens for you. Just inside you see your father's hat is lying on the driveway. Now you know that he's here. As you rush to the front doorway of the castle, you can't help but wonder how no one in town seemed to notice a huge castle only hours away. You know something must be wrong with this castle as you bang on the door and the door too opens for you, but you don't see anyone inside. You look around, and you see a candelabra is lit by the doorway. You rush over and you grab the candelabra, because it is the only light you see in the entire castle. You wouldn't normally be so bold, but your father is lost, and so you start looking all over the castle, up and down stairs, through corridors and hallways, until you finally have woven your way through this dark and dreary castle to what looks like a tower, and you climb the steps to the tower, circling until you reach the top and you see a cell, and inside that cell is your father. Papa, you shout as you run to him, and his arms reach out and grab you. Belle, he cries, you shouldn't have come here. Run, leave now. You notice that his arms and his hands as they grasp at you are icy cold, and you cannot leave him there. You refuse. Again, your father demands that you leave, that you get out of there as quickly as you can. But it's too late. You wouldn't have gone anyway, but you hear someone approaching with a huge, growling roar. Someone or something yells, "What are you doing here?" grabbing your shoulder and basically throwing you to the floor as he turns you around. He backs into the shadow, and you can only see what you assume is the outline of a man. And you ask, "Who are you?" And he tells you that he is the master of this castle, and so you beg and plead that he releases your father, that your father is sick. But the man only says that he shouldn't have trespassed here. You plead more, and you try to think of what you could say that would free your father, and then it comes to you, "Take me instead." Your father yells out in protest, but the master of the house pauses in consideration. "You would do that?" he asks, and you say yes, because you know that your father is too ill to stay in that tower and that he would not survive, and you would do anything for those that you love. But first, you ask the master of the house, because you're curious, to step into the light so that you can see him. Slowly, very slowly, the hulking figure steps into the light, and you gasp and place a hand to your mouth as you see a beast